If you guys have seen the past episodes, you'll see that we actually traded in one of the Egyptian cobras for this beautiful aquatic coral snake from Suriname. This awesome species of snake is almost completely an aquatic species, spending most of its life in creeks. We're going to try to replicate their environment as best as possible and try to be one of the first people to successfully keep aquatic coral snakes in captivity. Watch them disappear into the debris. Go ahead and explore. Look at that, that is so cool. That's where he belongs, in an aquatic setting. It's gonna be a good time! Good time today! It is going to be a good time! Are you guys ready for a good time? I'm going to teach you today about the goose snake named Coral. Who's Coral, you ask? Coral is a coral snake, an aquatic coral snake, meaning he likes to swim in the water of Suriname. And also French Guyana, a really cool species. Come get a look. Come on, get a look. Look at this. We're gonna move these frogs aside. Look at this beautiful snake. If you guys have seen the past episodes, you'll see that we actually traded in one of the Egyptian cobras for this beautiful aquatic coral snake from Suriname. This awesome species of snake is almost completely an aquatic species, spending most of its life in creeks, slow-moving streams, and it's actually one of the most toxic coral snakes in all of the world. There's so many different species of coral snake on our planet, and this species is notorious for its potent venom. You're probably wondering, why does it have such a potent venom? Well, since he lives in the water, he has to take down fish, animals that can swim away in a scurry. So if the venom's not fast acting, that fish is going to get eaten by another predator, die somewhere else. So if he has fast acting neurotoxins, he can kill it instantly and swallow that prey right there. So these guys eat amphibians, knifefish, catfish, anything really in the aquatic setting that they can sink their fangs into and envenomate. So this species is a front fixed fanged elapid. So just to let you guys know, coral snakes do not have rear fangs. That is a myth. These snakes have front fixed fangs, and it's very easy for them to land a bite and envenomate you. They actually do not need to bite the webbing of your fingers to envenomate. They can bite you anywhere in your fingers, anywhere in your hand, they can land a bite. I'm being very gentle because even though it's a very toxic snake, it's not an aggressive one. This is a snake that never sees people, and it hangs out deep, deep in the creeks in the middle of nowhere in the Amazon. We're going to close that up, and then if you look over here, we have some beautiful clown tree frogs that we're going to be putting in there as well. So we're going to be doing a pretty interesting setup. Now let's talk about that setup for a second. These guys are fully aquatic or almost completely aquatic coral snakes. The mortality rate in captivity in America, let alone the world for these snakes, 100% death in captivity. It's sad, but since it's already in captivity, I thought, why not take the chance to possibly replicate as best as possible what they have in the wild and see if we can get this animal to live. Like I said, it's almost fully aquatic coral snake, so I'm assuming most people who got these snakes probably set them up in a dry setup and they didn't think maybe to do it like a creek. So what we're going to do for the setup, we've got a locked screen top so we can't get out because coral snakes are extremely sneaky. We want to be able to lock that enclosure. We've got some lights for the top. We've got a nice big piece of cork bark so he can hide under. We can prop that up so he can get out of the water as well. Big piece of driftwood to make it look like the Amazon with big pieces of wood sticking out. Got the perfect little bubbler to add oxygen and also filter the water for the fish and amphibians we'll put in there. Another bubbler, we got a tank heater to keep it around 75 degrees. Just in case it gets a little cooler, it'll keep it right around 75 degrees. You don't want to cook these animals, they're from the rainforest, they come from a very cool environment. So if you put too much heat on them, you will cook them alive. So you got to treat it kind of like a mata turtle, because the mata turtles hang out in the creek water as well. They like that cool water. We have our locks to make sure it's nice and secure, because this is a venomous reptile, we want to be safe. We have our beautiful river rocks. So what we're going to do is we're going to layer the bottom with river rocks down here, and then right on top of that we'll add about 3 to 4 inches of water, and then we're going to have a whole bunch of leaves, a bunch of leaf litter to simulate the bottom of a river in the Amazon, just like they are in the wild. So we're going to try to replicate their environment as best as possible and try to be one of the first people to successfully keep aquatic coral snakes in captivity. Let's get started. Alright, we have the receipt. Don't worry about that because Beverly's Pet Center gave me a great discount. Check out Beverly's Pet Center. It's not a paid promo. They just gave me a good discount on some supplies, so check them out. They're over in Miramar, Florida, here in the great Sunshine State. If you ever need some chow for your dog, a filter for your turtle, a fish for your tank, they got what you need. Alright guys, first thing I want to do is get my Windex and start spraying. Whoa! I know, it's Windex. Calm down. Look at this. Ammonia free. We're not using it with ammonia. Ammonia free Windex. We're going to be using that to spray the tank. Of course, we wouldn't want to use regular Windex because all that ammonia would not be good for our animals and possibly kill them with the fumes. So obviously, we're not going to use that. Now let me just make sure the tank is nice and clean before we start setting it up so you guys can perfectly see the animals in their environment. I'm super excited for this setup because it'll be like a little creek in the Amazon and kids will be able to come up and see the animals hunt underneath the water, see the little catfish, the frogs in the trees, and they'll be able to see that coral snake on the hunt. And this is a very rare opportunity for people in America to get to see these snakes in a little setup doing their own thing. So this animal will hopefully be a great ambassador for its species in the Amazon and make people fall in love with Amazonian animals. What's really interesting is this coral snake, believe it or not, it's one of the largest coral snakes on the planet. They can get upwards to 6 feet long. Think about that. That's a large rattlesnake, 6 foot long, fat, really fat, taking down knifefish, catfish, amphibians. They're incredible species. I'm super excited to be working with this animal because it's something that's a challenge, but also it's something very unique. I've never gotten to work with these animals in captivity because they're so hard to keep in captivity, let alone the fact I haven't seen them in the wild yet. And apparently, they're pretty common down their native range. So maybe in the future, when I go on an expedition looking for bushmasters in the Amazon, maybe I can find myself an aquatic coral snake too.
Mamma mia, okay, listen up, come close.
Hey, quit talking around! Get your sibling to sit down and listen today, because today I'm going to teach you how to make a very cool aquatic setup for your aquatic Amazonian turtle or whatever you say. Because today I teach you that you don't have to own venomous snakes to be a cool guy. You can have a non-venomous mata-mata turtle in this kind of setup. So pay attention and you can do the same for your turtle at home, okay? So let's do this. My friend, pebbles. We got nice, really nice pebbles right here. Good river rocks. Ooh. Nice weight to them. I can tell by the way they hit the ground. We're gonna dump that right in there. A nice river bottom. I was thinking about white sand and I was just like, man, I have white sand in other setups. Let's play around with it and play some other river rock colors. So we're gonna go with this river rock tone. I think this snake here, his name's gonna be Carl. Carl the coral snake, because he's a good guy. I think Carl's gonna like this. Perfect. Just want to get a nice thin layer of rocks. So I'm not going for anything too deep, because this is just gonna be a simple creek setup. Nothing crazy. This is gonna be where all the small amphibians and fish, little baby fish, all the animals will be hiding in the creek, right? The threads coming off of the deeper water, where something like an aquatic coral snake would hunt. So that's what we're gonna simulate. Now, of course, I say all the time, I love to travel, I love to see animals in their natural habitat around the planet, and I plan to see these guys in the wild. I like to take that information and apply it to my animals. I know a lot of you guys out there don't have the opportunity to travel around. Some of you guys are really young, but that doesn't mean you can't do your research. Get online, get books, read as much as possible about these animals so you can keep them in captivity the best as possible, replicating their natural habitat, temperatures, where they live in the wild, what kind of terrain they like, everything. You could research that and make your animals' life as best as possible. So take note, and we're going to set up a really cool Amazonian setup.
Whew. It's a little steamy in here because it's a snake house. A little sweaty, but it's okay. We're going to have a good time.
Alright, so we've got a nice little 50-watt tank heater right here, only for 13 gallons. Obviously, we're only filling up the water about that deep, 3 to 4 inches. Nothing too crazy. Now I got the suction cups right here. Gotta pull up over the suction cups. Get them attached, and we're gonna pop this little baby right on the back, right here. And we're gonna hook it up in a second. This tank heater actually kind of looks like the Men in Black memory eraser. You know, when he points and he flashes it. Anyways, let's get back to tank building. All right, guys. So I'm gonna be setting this to about 75. Because in the Amazon, the water's pretty cool. I mean, in some parts of the year, when water is not connected to the main river, it's gonna get a little hot and steamy and whatnot, but this is an animal that's hiding in the shade of the creeks. It's not gonna wanna cook. So we're keeping it at 75, so if it ever gets too cold in here, the water doesn't get too cold. And if it gets too hot, this thing will shut off. It has an automatic regulator, so if it gets too hot above the temperature that you want, it's gonna go back to that temperature, it's gonna turn off and cool down until it regulates again. So we're just gonna set that for 75 so we don't cook our little guy Carl, the coral snake, and all of his amphibian friends are nice and safe. We're gonna take our little bubbler filter right here, so you guys can check it out. I'm not sponsored, so yeah, whatever, I don't care that much. No, I'm just kidding, guys. If you wanna check it out, here are the brands right here, so you can get your own. I'm not getting paid for these products. I just think they work really good, and my friends recommend them to me, so if they work for me and my friends, then I say you guys should use them too. All right, perfect. I got my little compressor and a little bubbler right here that I'm gonna plug in at the bottom. This is the part that's gonna go in, a little sponge. There'll be emitting little bubbles. Both on the corner right there. Just gotta lower this down safely. Alright guys, we're gonna put our little aqua bubbler right there. I'm gonna plug this in a second. Let me get my light ready so we can start seeing what's going on so it's not too dark. Got a beautiful little full spectrum light right here. I could open it like a normal person, but why not act like an angry Wolverine? There we go, perfect. And then we're just gonna gently, just like that. Very nice. We're here in the darkest parts of the snake room, just plugging some stuff up. As you can see, I'm a collector of spiders as well. Ooh. Delilah, hello, say hello to the viewers. Delilah, don't bite, ow! Okay, okay, hey, viewers. Oi! It's really hot in there. Okay, alright, we got everything plugged in. It's all off for right now. Leaves, very important. I want it to look like the bottom of the rainforest, so a lot of leaf litter. It's going to add tannins to the water, and it's going to make the snake have a lot of places to hide. It's going to give the snake the opportunity to hide itself most of the time. Honestly, that's not enough leaves. We need more leaves. Leaf montage. We got the leaves, we're good. Okay, so we got the rest of our leaves, fresh leaves, decaying leaves, a whole mix of leaves, a lot of different spots to hide. And once the water's in there, it'll be elevated a little bit, so lots of good spots for this aquatic coral snakes and all of its food to hide, so he can actually go through this area and hunt and ambush his prey. So let's see. Now, I want to put in this big, beautiful piece of driftwood. It's going to be a place for the frogs to get out of the water, for the snake to get out of the water if it likes. It's going to be just here in the corner, looking nice and pretty. And then I've got this piece of cork bark that I wanted to put in the back of the tank, so this snake can actually hide under and inside the log as well, and also get up on top of the log to get out of the water. It should float, so we're going to put that right under here in the corner. There we go. It's looking good. And what I'm going to do for water for this tank, I'm not going to get some Zephyr Hills water, some spring water, none of that. What I'm going to do is actually get a nice good amount of water out of my fly river turtle tank, just because I've got fish in here. The tank is established, it has healthy bacteria, and I'd rather have healthy bacteria water inside the water with this coral snake versus something like clean, purified water. Because this snake came from the Amazon, this snake came from a creek. It shouldn't get clean, purified water right off the bat. It's used to a different ecosystem with bacteria, healthy bacteria already inside the water. So we'll be using the water from this tank to give to this coral snake. So give me 1 second, I'll get a little bucket. Okay, my fishy friends, move to the side. It's time to move. All right, nice and easy. There we go. Water montage. So, we just about got it done. All we've got to do now is let these leaves settle and let the water temperature get to the right temperature. We don't want it to be too cold, too warm. The water's just about above cool for me, a little too cool for this snake. So that tank heater is going to do its job over the next 30-40 minutes. And we're going to get a lid on this, check out the lock, see how it looks with the light properly placed. So I made a little fitting right there so the pipe can wedge in there. I can completely seal this enclosure because remember, coral snakes are very mischievous snakes, very sneaky. They're like Houdini, they'll disappear before you know it. So that's why I picked this Zella cage, because it's a lock top designed for snakes. There we go. Now we have our little Amazonian setup. The kids are going to be able to come up nice and close, look underneath the surface of the water, see the coral snake, try to spot the coral snake, look for the amphibians and fish that he eats, probably see him hunt. They go to the next level, they can see the frogs hanging up here, lots of places for the coral snake to hide. The cork bark actually floats, and it has little wedges on the inside, little lips that you can hide on the inside, or you can go on top of it and bask. So the coral snake has lots of options. Remember, fully aquatic coral snake nearly spends all of its life in the water, so this is what it needs. It's basically like the mud snake from South America. If you're a herper here from Florida, a person likes to snake hunt, mud snakes, they're always in the water, always hunting amphibians and fish, so they're really difficult to keep. I'm kind of replicating what you do for a mud snake for this coral snake. Okay, so I'm going to slide that outwards. We're going to get all that water because I'm a little OCD, and if I see the little mess, I want to clean it up. I don't want to see water all over my glass. Perfect. I love how this setup is coming out. And like I said, the leaves will absorb the water later on and they'll sink to the bottom, making a nice leaf litter on the bottom that you can hide under. Obviously you can hide under it now, but it's going to be a lot more secure at the bottom. It'll be a lot more comfortable for them to hide in because that's what they're living in out in the wild in Suriname, in between French Guyana and Guyana. The Amazon is spread throughout so much of the country that there's so many different spots where these snakes can live. So they're not just found in Suriname, they're found in all the neighboring countries as well. Super common coral snake. Can't wait to see one in the wild. But now I get to admire one in captivity. Alright guys, let me see. I've got my danger venomous reptiles label printed out. Good to go. Let's pop that baby on, get this tank labeled, and we're going to put all of our creatures in there and start the process of our little ecosystem. Alright, looking good. We got our tank labeled. Good to go. We've got our lock to put on so nobody can get into it. Now, just waiting for the water to get to the right temp. We'll start introducing the animals in a couple moments. I'll bring these guys back out so we can get a good look. We've got our beautiful clown tree frogs right here. I'm going to try and open this without them jumping out. There's no guarantee. Look at that. Beautiful tree frogs. I've never owned this species, so it's going to be new for me. And these guys are going to be hanging out at the top of the terrarium. And they can get away from the coral snake and avoid getting eaten. If they do get eaten, I'm sorry guys. I'm sorry, but it's a wild world in there. It's a wild world in there. You got to be tough, okay? And over here, we have the beautiful, gorgeous aquatic coral snake. Let's see, try and get this tape off, open the whole entire lid. He's right there burrowing, you can see his little head right there. Let me get the rest of this plastic off. Look at this, beautiful looking snake. Just gonna gently lift him up a little bit so you can see that head. Look at that. Tiny little eyes used for an aquatic lifestyle. Just like a little anaconda, this snake has his tiny little beady eyes right at the top of the skull, allowing him to sneak up on prey, catch a breath without exposing himself. Look at that, such a beautiful little coral snake. I do not want his face to get near my fingers or my skin because this is one of the most toxic coral snakes on the planet. Why is this snake so toxic? Well, simply because it's an aquatic coral snake, meaning that his diet consists of things living in the water. So basically, this snake has to have the most powerful venom to demobilize a fish so it doesn't get away and get eaten by another predator. Basically, this guy has to have the most potent venom in the Amazon to get his meal before someone else steals it. Remember, the Amazon is full of all kinds of predators, not just reptiles, but catfish, otters, all different types of animals that would steal your meal. So these guys need very, very powerful neurotoxic venom that kill their prey instantly and eat it right there on the spot. So what I want to do is just keep them as a display animal, and I will not be handling them too much. I want them to get acclimated, and I want to be able to enjoy this animal in captivity and be able to admire him and study him here in this environment. All right, I'm going to put the coral snake right here. Take the frogs down. We're going to check the temp of the water. It's still a bit cool. We're going to let this sit for another hour. We're going to come back and put these guys in. All right, guys, moment of truth. We're going to be putting the animals in their enclosure. I think what I'll do is go coral snake first, then frogs. The frogs are a little more jumpy. So let's put the clown frogs right there. Get this coral snake out. Let's see how the temperament is. So far, this snake is very relaxed, laid back, like most coral snake species. But don't let that fool you. If you harass them enough, they will land you a bite. And that's not a good one. Look at that beautiful head. Look at that snake. Incredibly red head. Beautiful blacks going along the head. And just like Ryan from Underground Reptiles saying, it looks like a skull, like a red skull. Beautiful snake. So let me see. We're going to put him into the water. Look at that guy. You can tell by the way he moves. He's an aquatic animal. Not so much adapted to be living on land. Look at that. Watch him disappear into the debris. Go ahead, explore. Look at that. That is so cool. That's where he belongs, in an aquatic setting. He can bury himself underneath the gravel. Later on, these leaves will sink, creating more space to hide under. He has little fish he can hunt. We'll add amphibians to his diet. This is an awesome setup. Look at that. Like he's back home in the Amazon. Look at there's his head. Look at him. That is so cool. He can hide inside the bark. He can hide inside the holes of the bark. Let's see. Look at that. That is such a cool snake. I'm so stoked. Hopefully he does real well in here and he enjoys himself. Alright guys, we're going to add the clown tree frogs. Get a good look at them. They're ready to hop out. They've been in here for about a day and they want out. So let's put them right here. right onto the water so they can hydrate. Come on, go ahead. There you go. Now watch out, guys. Oh. Come on, go ahead. Go ahead, little scoot to the butt. Little hop. Woo. Go ahead. You ready? Oh, you want to stay inside the little cup? Come on. Little hop. Go ahead, little hop. Boing. Enjoy that log. Alright guys, it looks like Carl the coral snake has adapted nicely to his environment. He's going to start settling in. The frogs are starting to settle in. You can see him hanging out on the leaf litter. This is going to be a really cool setup. I hope he does well in captivity. Like I said, these guys are not commonly kept in captivity because the mortality rate is 100%. So hopefully, replicating as best as possible what they have in the wild will make a difference and we can have a captive aquatic coral snake named Carl. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay beautiful, stay safe, but most of all, wash your hands and stay gangster.